when the Vatican leapt into the controversy on climate science, we were initially under the impression that His Holiness was a victim of bad advice from bad advisors. You know, there were people from the UN who were population control advocates. There were people from other left-wing groups who were advising the pontiff. And so, you know, our initial reaction when we were promoting our tour to Rome was that, Your Holiness, please don't listen to these guys alone. There are other scientists out there you should listen to as well, have a well-rounded view. Well, I think over the last 6 months, since the encyclical itself has been released and the Pope has made some subsequent comments, we're sort of amending our view. While we initially thought it was bad advisors, I think that something more may be afoot. Doing some research into the history of the forms in the Catholic Church, it was a medieval festival where masqueraders with grotesque masks took over the church and elected what was called a fool's pope. It's called the Effectual Papae. This is in the 12th through the 15th centuries. This is a pagan ritual, pagan remnants that were seeping into the church. One of them also was nature worship. What is environmentalism but nature worship? And at these fool's pope festivals, they would worship nature, tell jokes, and make satires of Christianity. And Carl Jung, the noted psychiatrist, in his book Four Archetypes, said that jests, madness, and revelry make the clergy a mockery. So the clergy was involved in this process of making the church at that time look foolish. Rome at that time tried to outlaw this in 1581, and I'm wondering, as a scholar, if pagan forms are returning to the church this day. Those pagan forms of the fool's pope came from the pagan world of the Romans, and I'm wondering if that is returning to the church in a big way now. There's a relationship between religion, behavior, and social structure that is well noted in academia. And Orthodox Christianity channeled the forms of several ancient religions into making the social structure of Christian culture. If you know about how the Irish were catechized, they used the clover and used it as a symbol of the Trinity and that sort of thing. So they've used pagan forms in the past, but sort of channeled them into positive things. But I think that if we have a pope who doesn't view things in an orthodox manner, we're going to be having forms returning to the religion that are not orthodox. There's a word in Greek called hieros, which means holy, and there's another word in Greek that I want to bring up called thenon, which means to reveal. So hierophany, to reveal the truth, can happen in any form of religion, and I think we're seeing a revelation of a sort of animistic form in the church. An older level of consciousness let itself rip in the wildness, wantonness, and irresponsibility of paganism. And that was Carl Jung also writing in Four Archetypes. There are elements of nature worship, and I would say, contrary to some of the criticism, that this is not communism that has entered the church, it's rather paganism.